when you want all-encompassing real-life Cowboys, entrepreneurs, as well as even car wash owners, look no further. Peacock and USA has you covered with the McBee Dynasty. And joining me from the show is both Cole and Jesse McBee. Fellas, what's going on?
What's up, man? How are you?
What's happening?
Man, I'm doing good. You guys got me hooked on that doggone show.
Man, we appreciate you watching and we appreciate you having us on today. We're pumped to be on here.
I'm glad. To be very honest with you, the cowboy notion, the entrepreneur notion, small town feel, it has all of the encompassing things that keep people hooked. Can you guys walk me back to just how you were approached about doing this reality show? Where did it all come from? Where did it start?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story. Yeah, I'll take the lead on this. So our older brother, Steven, was on a dating show called Joe Millionaire that kind of started this whole reality TV in the first place for all of us. So he actually had the final 6 girls come back to our farm and they filmed it there. And the cast and the producers of that show loved the farm, loved us, just kind of how we were with each other and the whole aspect of us running a farming operation with each other. And was like, basically like, you guys have got to get a reality show of just your family. And then that kind of led down. Once he finished that show, we had a couple of different casting companies reach out to us, and it kind of just took off from there. And we're like, well, I guess we're going to go for it now.
Yeah, no, you guys definitely have something going. On the first episode, the imagery was crazy because it started off with a fire on the farm. It was like kind of like wind making it worse. That imagery kind of brought me in. I mean, can you walk me back on that process? Because why was that the opening thing that was such a thing? And how did you guys eventually put that fire out?
Well, I think that was the first week of filming we did that fire. And it was kind of the start of it. And then it was also like the start of, they kind of seen us getting arguments. Me and my brother Steven were kind of getting into it the whole time. We were kind of talking crap back and forth. And then also it started with all the problems. I think kind of set the tone to show that, you know, there's a lot of problems that we go through in our daily lives. And that was just something little we had to do, but it turned into a big problem. And kind of how the whole show went, you know, we overcome problems, and we also have a lot of our own relationship problems that we bring on ourselves throughout the show, as you'll see as you get farther into it. But no, I think it just kind of set the tone for how the show was going to be and what it was going to be like. And it was also, I think, you know, everybody kind of gets not attracted to a fire, but like kind of like it catches their eye, you know, as they're watching. They're like, man, why are they doing that? You know, what is that? Burning a whole field off? Well, you know, why? And then we kind of said why in the show, and also it kind of showed why we did it.
Your dad, you guys talk about how your dad came from humble beginnings, started this farm, and then a multitude of other businesses. But I noticed how in the show it was insinuated, or you said that people think that your dad sells drugs. Why do you guys get so much hate locally?
Yeah, this is always a tough question to answer. It seems like for some reason, anytime you're trying to change things or do something out of the norm from what society or the local town will have you to believe, that it's more jealousy than anything, it seems like, and they're jealous of us trying to honestly do better for ourselves and better for everybody around us. So it's not like we flaunt it or anything like that. I think it's just people have this notion that they want to keep everything the same. They don't want anything to grow or to build new buildings, and unfortunately we are the exact opposite of all of that. We love to build new things, start new projects, and really be on the front end of really anything. So I think that draws a lot of attention our way, and obviously with attention comes a lot of hate.
Sure. And I think what I thought was cool was even through that process of having hate, the people who work on the farm, you guys have a cookout at your property with employees once a month. I got to ask you fellas, what's on the grill?
Man, either my dad or Tessa would be cooking, and if Tessa's cooking, it's usually something like really home cooked, like, you know, mashed potatoes, gravy, like anything you imagine, like super home cooked meal from scratch. And my dad's cooking, it's always like cheeseburger, steaks, you know, something on the grill. He's always grilling something. But no, we love spending time with our guys, especially, you know, whenever we're just really busy and they put in a lot of hours for us and a lot of hard work. So we love being able to, you know, just spend time with them, cook them a meal. It's not a lot, but it shows some type of gratitude towards what they do, and just hang out with them and actually get to know them. You know, our whole farm is like our family up here. All of our guys we have a really tight knitted group, and we like that.
Listen, I like fashion. The cowboy boots on the show are kind of litty. I bought my first pair of cowboy boots last year when I went out to San Antonio.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man. I wore them a couple times. I saw a pair of blue cowboy boots with orange. It goes with New York Knicks colors. I mean, where do you guys shop? What do you guys, when you're not on the farm, what do you guys do for fun to kind of just enjoy yourselves in that part of Missouri?
Very rarely are we not on the farm, it seems like. I know the show may have portrayed that we're always going out of town and partying, but that's a rarity for us. So honestly, we'll go down to KC sometimes. We'll hit up PVR, just the local country bar, of course, because that's where we fit in at, it seems like. Right. But we love shop basically any country stores, mostly the local little small town shops that we love to shop at, support local. Is where we'll get most of our stuff from. Okay.
I like the fact that you guys balanced out the family farm with also the car wash, because everybody needs their car wash, and if you live in a city, everybody needs a laundromat. So the car wash to me makes sense. Mm-hmm. The idea was that to start that.
You know, it's funny. This is always a debate between my dad and Steven. They each say that it was their own idea. I think originally it was Steven's idea. I hate to give him credit for anything because he has a big enough head as it is, but I think it was his idea. It was initially who told my dad, and, you know, basically was like, "Hey, Dad, I need your money, but this is a great idea. Let's start building these things." Right.
In the show, it was discussion about the venture capitals and or working with an investor and just expanding and doing all those things. And I noticed that you guys have not been to New York City. I know the show was filmed. Has that still been the case? Am I moving too far ahead?
Jesse actually just got back to New York City.
Really?
Yeah. We had a little bit of a press tour out there just about 3 weeks ago. So I got to witness New York City for the first time ever in my life.
And your thought process was?
I was overstimulated. It was a lot. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of cars honking, yelling. But it was really cool. It was totally different, obviously, than anything that we have on a farm. All the lights, the high rises and everything. So it's cool. I love to experience new things. So just being able to go out there and see it firsthand in person, I really enjoyed it.
When you weren't doing press interviews, did you explore anything? What was the schedule like outside of your obligations there? Something that you could report back that you enjoyed that wasn't so overstimulating?
We were pretty much on press tour the entire time. We went out to dinner one time and seen Times Square, where they dropped the ball. And that was I can't even remember the name of the restaurant, but we went to a restaurant that overlooked it. And it was just really cool to see that and see all those people there. But that was probably the coolest. All the lights there and seeing Times Square in person. It's definitely different than it is on TV, and seeing it in person was pretty neat.
I like it. Next time you come back, you got to look me up because I got to show you what is not commercialized, and you can kind of see how the overstimulation is the media version of it, but there are actually some pretty cool things to do also.
Yeah, for sure. I'd appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Tell me something. Family businesses are never easy. You have to you bring work home literally, and then when you work from home, you're always home. How do you both find that work-life balance in spite of the fact that you're working a family business?
It's pretty hard. Steven and my dad are pretty work-minded, like all the time. I mean, my dad the last couple of years have, on the weekends has been able to be a lot better than it used to be. When we were growing up, it was like my dad was just always work. Like that's how it was. And the last couple of years, he's been able to really set aside work and actually enjoy himself some on the weekends, as you see in the show once you continue watching it. But But no, we try our best to, still have fun. Me and Jesse, we kind of on the weekends, we still want, if our work is finished, we go out and we do things with friends. Usually at the farm, most of our friends usually either come up there and we'll be around the farm riding horses or doing whatever we do on weekends, fishing, whatever it is, just around the farm. But no, we figure out a way to have fun still, even though we're working. We just make sure we get all our work done, and then it's time to play.
Your dad was pretty badass when he literally went up to that guy's house to see if his truck bed was back there. And when he asked him, "You mind if we look back here?" And the guy said, "Sure, go ahead." I don't know about you, but I still would have looked back there.
Yeah, I know. And we talked about that too. My dad's a pretty straightforward person, and he'll tell you stories of. We try to leave him in the past, but when he was younger, he was a different kid. He was always tough and always getting in fights. So he kind of still has that attitude about him that he's not going to let anybody punk him or treat him wrong without, confronting him about it. But yeah, he's always the one that takes that initial brunt of it all, it seems like.
What are some reality shows that you all enjoy watching?
Well, I know our girlfriends, Allie and Casey, they're both watching. Is it Vanderpump? Is that what it's called, Jesse?
Vanderpump, Love is Blind.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, there's a couple more. What's funny is we never really got into reality shows before this, and then as soon as it came about that we were going to be on a reality show, we started watching them. We're like, oh yeah, I see why people watch this. This is going to be crazy. Obviously, keeping up. I guess it's just the Kardashians now, ain't it? Is what they changed the name to. We had to watch them.
Okay. Yeah, we talked beforehand about just jokingly. I said it gives me Love and Hip Hop meets the Kardashian meets a bunch of other stuff vibes. But as I'm watching it, for some reason, just the camaraderie, it gives me vibes to the television show Entourage.
Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah. I've seen I haven't seen the whole show, but I've seen bits and pieces, and I could definitely see that. We definitely have, that's kind of the main, what I want the audience to draw from, and I'm sure Cole would agree that at the end of watching all 10 episodes, that no matter the relationship problems, everything that we go through in all the episodes, that at the end of the day, we still come together as a family and as friends, and we work it out no matter what.
Yeah. The day-to-day of managing a farm, I'm intrigued. What time does your day start? What time does your day end?
It kind of depends. I mean, we try to get all the guys started at 7 every day. We meet like 6:45. Sometimes I'm a little late. I have trouble waking up sometimes. So I'm like 7:15, 7:30s. But no, my dad, Steven's up at 4 every day. He's crazy. We don't get up that early. We start at like normal day, probably 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then like last night, we're in planting season right now, so we're pretty hot and heavy. And so I was working on planters last night till probably dark, 9 o'clock, and they ran. And then we don't have no rain coming until next week, so we don't run. We'll probably run till 9:30 every night, and then the guys cut out, and we'll be back at 7. And then if there's rain coming, we hit it pretty hard, and it just kind of depends on the time of year. But normally it's just kind of depending on the call. Some nights I might be done by 6 or 7 if nobody has problems, or if it ain't plant season, or 5. Even if it's we're in slow time, but. A lot of times I get a call, there's something wrong, cattle's out, or, we're moving. I just got done. I'm still in the middle of moving cows right now up to a different farm. We're putting them on grass from stalks. So been doing a bunch of that lately, and then just getting into plant season. We've been pretty busy. So working some long hours now.
So it's planting season. When is down season?
Our down season would be like July-ish.
Okay.
And
if you can call it a down season.
Because we don't... Call it down season. We're getting all of our combines ready, getting ready for harvest. It's after spraying season because you spray your crops 3 times. So you spray before you plant, which is a pre, and then you spray your post, which is just to keep any weeds from growing after your pre runs out, which is like a 30-day usually that it lasts. So you have to get back 30 days after you plant it. Spray your post, and then you come back later on and you spray like a fungicide and insecticide, which is for like insects and different viruses they can get and different fungicides they can get. So you come back to that 3rd time spray it, and that usually ends in like July-ish, sometimes getting into August. So that's kind of, we're just spraying through then and getting combines ready. But during the winter, it's kind of a slow time. It's just everybody's in the shop. And then, of course, with cows, we're feeding cattle every day. So it's kind of picks up with cattle during the winter. During the summer, cows go on grass. So they're usually eating a lot of grass. You don't have to feed them as much as you do during the winter.
Okay. Yeah, this is insightful. It's a break from the usual basketball grind that I'm on. So to hear something from another perspective on an industry, I welcome that. Knowledge is power.
That's awesome. Glad you enjoy it. We love it. It's our whole life.
Of course, of course. Tell me something. The feedback on social media that you guys have been getting from people who may relate to your story. Have you gotten any feedback like that from people who have tuned into the show?
Yeah, I think all of us have in our own way. It seems like I'd say because we're all so different and we each have kind of our own storyline within the show. So I think each of us have had people relate to us in their own ways, and other people not relate to us. Relate to one of the brothers, or even my. I don't think anybody relates to my dad, but I'd say there is some that relate to us boys.
Sure. No, man, I think me myself being a product of a divorced household, and then my mother remarrying, like that's never easy. So you're dealing with blended or extended family while also running a business. That cannot be easy, but you guys seem to juggle it well.
We're glad that we make it look that way, because sometimes it don't feel like it. It's a lot sometimes.
Sure. No, man, for all those paying attention, make sure you all check out the McBee Dynasty, which is all over the Peacock and USA landscape. I've been checking out your clips on Instagram. You guys have me in stitches. I'm going to continue to watch it because it's different.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
If you're ever in the Midwest or in Missouri, come out here to the farm and check it out. We'd love to show you around.
Oh, you have my word. I will.
Sounds good. You hit us up whenever.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much for your time. Congratulations and continued success to you and the family.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us on.
Yes, sir.